Year after year, there are hundreds of reports of large, hairy, ape-like creatures we all call Bigfoot. Reports of such a creature have been reported for hundreds of years, but it was in 1958, after a worker found 16-inch human-like footprints in soil in California, that the name Bigfoot was created. Now, I'm going to do a video on terrifying Bigfoot encounters, but here are 5 of what people believe are the most compelling pieces of evidence of the existence of Bigfoot. The Skookum Cast. The Skookum Cast is thought to be the best piece of physical evidence of Bigfoot. It all started in 2000 when the popular Australian program Animal X was filming its 2nd season. They sent a crew to Washington State to search for Bigfoot in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. The investigation team included a retired physical anthropologist from Washington State University, a Canadian wildlife biologist, a retired Canadian journalist and author, an exotic animal handler, and a healthcare administrator, as well as several members from the BFRO and Animal X film crew. Together, they spent 6 days scouring the forest for any trace of a Bigfoot, but it was on their 6th day they caught what they believe is the best evidence of the creature. They were using a piece of fruit near a patch of mud in hopes that the Bigfoot would go in to take the bait and leave a clear sign of its presence in the mud. Sure enough, on their 7th day, the 22nd of November, they found a large animal-like impression on the ground. They used a casting material to take a mold of the imprint and transported it to an indoor location where it could be studied by scientific experts, who believe the cast showed anatomical features that is believed to represent an 8 to 9 foot tall humanoid creature. Details of the cast showed evidence of dermal ridges or fingerprints, which only primates are known to have, and many of the team who examined the cast agreed that it cannot be attributed to any commonly known northwest animal and may represent an unknown primate. There were also hairs present in the imprint that were collected and studied. They were analysed by Dr. Fahrenbach, who worked for the Oregon Regional Primate Research Center. He has a collection of unexplained hairs believed to be that of Bigfoot, and although a few hairs found at the Skookum Cast were that of elk, there was a hair shown to be from an unidentified primate that was similar to the other unidentified hairs in his collection. So with that, this is the scenario the team and many Bigfoot hunters have put forward. A Bigfoot was attracted to the fruit but did not want to leave its tracks in the mud, so it crawled to the bait, reclined on the ground and ate the fruit before leaving in a similar fashion, but not before leaving the large imprint thought to show its forearm, hip, thigh, heel, ankle and its Achilles tendon. On the other hand, the theory put forward by those who do not believe in Bigfoot, or those who do believe but do not think that the impression is the creature, say that it was most likely an elk. The muddy area the bait was placed is strongly believed to be an elk wallow where they roll around in the mud, and one of the members on the expedition said that an elk could have made the impression and bounced up without leaving hoof marks. But there are many who say that there would have been hoof marks all around the muddy patch, as an elk would not be trying to stealth up to the fruit. So for some, the cast is one of the most convincing pieces of evidence of Bigfoot, and for others it's nothing more than an elk imprint. But what did stop to eat the fruit without leaving any sign of its arrival is a mystery. Paul Freeman. Paul Freeman was an American cryptozoologist who passed away in 2003. He spent most of his life searching for Bigfoot and claimed to have discovered Bigfoot tracks showing dermal ridges, spotted an 8-foot-tall creature covered in reddish-brown hair in Washington in 1982, and in 1994 he recorded his most famous footage. The original footage he recorded is nearly 8 minutes long, but here is a shortened version showing the best parts. It was recorded near the Blue Mountains region and shows what's believed to be big footprints on the ground that Paul has filled with a material to make a cast mold. Then a creature can be spotted walking in the woods. It looks at Paul, seems to stop in its tracks before making its way deeper into the forest. Then, in the second part, when Paul goes into the woods to investigate, he spots the apparent Bigfoot again, and some say it is picking up a juvenile Bigfoot before walking away. Take a look.
Oh shit, he's come down, went back up both. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, he went back up the road, come down the road. Yeah, look at that. I hear the brush popping and stuff. Oh, there he goes. Jesus. get up here where I can see him real quick. There's two of them, I guess. Man. Oh. I wonder where they went. Oh, God. Two of them. Where'd they go? Hear my heart beating 40 miles an hour. Must have went up over the hill there or something.
There are a number of reasons why people think Paul's footage is genuine. One is that Paul never showed any reason to fake the footage. He was a relatively poor man and did not want to try to profit from the footage. It's thought he spent around $50,000 on Bigfoot research in his time and only made around $2,000 from doing one interview. In the interview, he was questioned on the authenticity of the footage and told the interviewer and his wife, who was sat by him, that it was real. The interviewer told that he was confident Paul had not faked the footage. So maybe Paul Freeman did hoax the footage in search of attention, but since he passed away in 2003 and his wife cannot be contacted to be questioned, I guess all we can do is trust him and make up our own conclusions, or dismiss it as a hoax. The Florida skunk ape. On December the 22nd, 2000, an elderly unidentified woman sent a letter signed "God bless, I prefer to remain anonymous" to the Sarasota Sheriff's Department. In there was 2 photographs and some details to go with them. The story started in 2000 when the elderly lady and her husband were living in Sarasota County, Florida, and took 2 photographs of an ape-like creature believed to be a Florida Bigfoot, also called a skunk ape or the Mayaca skunk ape due to its awful smell. It began when the couple were experiencing visits from this creature. 2 nights before the picture was taken, the believed Bigfoot had been taking apples from the couple's porch, and when it returned for the 3rd time, she managed to snap these 2 pictures before it walked off into the woods. When she looked at the photos, she was shocked at what the flash had revealed in the bushes. She thinks whatever it was around 6 to 7 foot in a kneeling position, and after it left, there was a terrible lingering smell. It's believed to have returned for one more night after the photo was taken to steal more apples, but after the couple kept their dog outside, the believed Bigfoot hasn't since returned. In the letter, the lady stated that her husband thinks that the creature was an orangutan and asked if someone was missing one. She said that she was concerned for her grandchildren's safety and wanted the police to look after the situation. Today, the 2 photos taken by the elderly lady still confuse Bigfoot enthusiasts. So, do you think it proves their existence, or was it nothing more than an orangutan or a hoax? Jacob's Bigfoot. In 2007, Bigfoot enthusiasts went wild when Rick Jacobs captured 2 images of what people believe is a young Bigfoot roaming the Allegheny National Forest in northwest Pennsylvania. Rick was using a Bushnell trial camera attached to a tree so he could track deer in the woods ready for the fall deer hunt. But when he looked through the footage, he noticed something unusual. At first you can see bear cubs walking past the camera, and one appears to be sniffing the deer bait and mineral block put down by Rick. Then, shortly after, the unidentified animal can be seen walking past in 2 shots. The camera has around a 30-second delay per photo, so it only managed to take 2 photographs of this unidentified creature. It's believed by many to be nothing more than a bear or a mangy bear, but those who have examined the photos, such as zoo veterans who have spent a lot of time with bears, are more than confident it is not one, by the way it's bending down to smell the ground in the second photo. A professor also applied mathematics to the photo to work out the ratio of the limbs and believes it's some sort of primate and very unlikely to be a bear. Some say they think it's an ape. Although there are no apes roaming the woods in northwest Pennsylvania, it's said that many people have pet apes, so one could have escaped or have been set free in the forest. The 2 images are still being examined by many Bigfoot enthusiasts, but there is no definitive explanation for what creature was roaming the woods that night. Most of us have seen or at least heard of this next video, because never has such a video caused such controversy and been so iconic around the world. The Patterson-Gimlin film. It's been scrutinized and examined by scientists, forensic examiners, anthropologists, animators, CGI experts, zoologists, and many others. And despite the enormous amount of people saying it's fake, there has never been any solid proof that it is. It all started when Roger Patterson became interested in Bigfoot after reading an article in 1959. He wrote a book about the creature, and in October 1967, both he and his experienced outdoorsman friend Robert Gimlin went on a horseback hunt in Bluff Creek, California to hunt for Bigfoot. They chose this area as Bigfoot sightings are common there, and a few years previous to their trip, construction workers reported to the press of large human-like footprints in the soil. On the afternoon of the 20th of October, they spotted what they believe was a female Bigfoot walking across a sandbar. Patterson's horse apparently reared due to seeing the creature, and he fell to the ground. He quickly regained himself and grabbed his camera, and this is the 24 feet of colour film footage he managed to shoot. After Patterson's film reel had run out, Gimlin tried to follow it on horseback, but it disappeared into the woods. Patterson called Gimlin back, and they both tracked the believed Bigfoot for a few miles before returning to the initial site, measuring the creature's stride and making 2 plaster casts of the most visible footprints. Since its release, the film is said to be a hoax by many and a genuine Bigfoot encounter by others. The most common theory is that it's simply a man dressed in a gorilla suit. But one of the most recent pieces of research was conducted by M.K. Davis, who he and many other Bigfoot enthusiasts say that the footage is not a man in a gorilla suit. On the 61st frame of the video, M.K. Davis was able to stabilize and enhance the frame significantly enough to show the bottom of the supposed Bigfoot's feet. People say that if it is a man or woman in a suit, then it would have been one expensive and sophisticated one, but that's not to say it wouldn't have been impossible. Academy Award-winning monster maker John Chambers is most famous for his work on the Planet of the Apes movie that was released 1 year after the Patterson and Gimlin film. In a 1997 interview, he denied rumours that he had created a costume for the Patterson subject, saying, "I'm good, but not that good." Costume designer and ape suit mime Janos Prohaska believed the film was real, saying in an interview that if it was a hoax, it was remarkably realistic and the best costume he had ever seen, with the only plausible explanation being that someone had glued hair to their skin. But on the other hand, there are the same number of people who believe it was a hoax. Stan Winston, an Academy Award-winning film special effects supervisor and makeup artist, said, "It's a guy in a bad hairsuit. Sorry." He also added that if one of my colleagues created this for a movie, he would be out of business. He went on to comment that the suit in the film could have been made for a couple $100, or under $1,000 in that day. Both men denied the footage was a hoax, and up until his death in 1972, Roger Patterson was adamant that he and his friend caught the best piece of Bigfoot footage in history. In 1998, during a telephone interview with the BBC, Robert Gimlin said that for some time he was totally convinced no one could fool him, but now that he is an older man, he thinks there could have been the possibility of a very well-planned hoax by Roger Patterson. So that's 5 pieces of evidence many are certain proves the existence of Bigfoot. As always, I hope you've enjoyed and see you next week for a creepy video.